You're listening to Murder Not Murdering with Erin,
And Autumn,
a true crime podcast about murder and murdering.
but we are not murderers.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Murder Not Murdering with Erin.
And Autumn, I got new podcast equipment.
That's exciting.
Dustin surprised me with it.
Yeah.
And then we needed tech support to get it set it up because I'm not that girl.
Well, I think I'm totally that girl. I love my tech stuff, but
That's why she edits.
that is why I edit. But I think also we do record remotely. So we do run into challenges with noises of cars and other things. We're just at home in our home studios. So it can be difficult sometimes. And we're trying some new stuff. So I hope that our audio sounds good after all of this once I edit, and we will see.
Trying to cut down on the annoying motorcycles that go right out of our windows and the weird echoes. So hopefully give us some feedback. Give us a thumbs up if you like it.
Thumbs up, true crimers.
True crimers. I mean, honestly,
It's
I think
kind of stuck.
it's kind of stuck at this point.
Yeah. It's our thing now.
It kind of is.
I
There
had a
were
lot
no
of
other suggestions. So
No, that's the one.
Mhm.
My allergies have been bad.
Man, it is so bad during the beginning of spring here in Washington.
Yeah, fuck the pollen. It's
I
not
mean, my
great.
car, it's usually white, is yellow.
I'm so glad that everything is growing and it looks beautiful, but Jesus Christ, it's been rough.
So rough for my sanity, actually. I sneeze all the time. My eyes itch. My nose
Yeah.
is running. It's just awful.
But I will say it is beautiful. I don't think there's many places that are more beautiful than Washington State in the spring and summer. We just have so much greenery and the mountains are out all the time and it's not raining and it's just really nice and gorgeous.
I have to wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah, I like to go to Lincoln Park a lot, and it's in West Seattle. It's a very beautiful park. You get a lot of forest, and then you also have down by the beaches. And we don't have like sandy beaches per se. We have more rocky beaches, but it is really nice and lovely down there.
Erin's an outdoor girly with that kind of stuff. I'm not.
Yeah, I am definitely an outdoor girly. I like getting into nature,
Not me.
but I don't camp.
I mean, I would be in a cabin or something out in nature as long as I was inside and there was air conditioning or there was heat. So I'm not really, I don't like bugs. I hate bees.
Yeah, I like bugs.
I don't even like to eat outside because I'm just always paranoid of a bee coming or a bug.
Yeah, we picnic a lot. So
I am not a picnic person. Like, truly, I am not. And my dad isn't either. So I think I get it from him. But man, there's nothing I hate more than eating outside.
here's something I will tell you is when Autumn and I were in our teens, Autumn was driving and we were making a left turn. We were waiting for a second and then a bee flew into the car while Autumn was making the turn and we got in a car accident.
This is accurate.
Facts.
I also have almost jumped out of a moving vehicle.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
bees are truly a
Phobia.
horrible fear. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even think about them without getting super anxious.
Well, over the last couple of years, my mom has developed a bee allergy. And she has to carry an EpiPen with her at all times. And she's an avid gardener. So we've had, I think, about like 3 or 4 stings where she's had to go to the hospital. And it's been really bad. The first time She was driving and a bee flew into her car and stung her on her chest
That would have
while
been
she was just
the end of
driving.
me. I would have passed away.
Luckily, she was close to a hospital and she literally pulled in, but it was during COVID times. And so she had the mask on, but her tongue was swelling so big that she couldn't talk. So she just pulled her mask down and like pointed at her tongue because she couldn't talk. And they were like, oh my God. So they rushed her into the back, gave her an EpiPen, and then like she had to be in the hospital overnight for that. But now it's become like a real thing. We have to be, make sure mom has her EpiPen when she's outside because it's kind of crazy. And of course, we all, us 90s kids, are traumatized from My Girl.
Yes. I mean, I was afraid
He can't
of these
see
before
without
that
his
movie,
glasses.
yeah, this is true. But I don't know, it's a deep-seated fear, like a deep in my soul fear.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, I probably would rather be in the same room as Ted Bundy than a bee.
That's a bit much.
And that's not exaggerating.
I think it is a little.
No, it's not. I would choose him over the bee.
I am not bothered by bugs at all, pretty much. But I do have a real issue with rodents. They freak me out.
Rodents are so freaking gross.
Yeah, I'm not a big
And
rodent fan, but
squealy and
I'm usually pretty good with most animals. Sometimes a scurry will give me the heebie-jeebies, but otherwise,
no.
outside of that, I will say it's been a really beautiful day. Actually, last time I was at the park, Lucy and I saw a sea otter go running down the beach. It went into the water, caught a huge ass fish, drug it up on the shore, and then went into the woods and ate it right there in front of us.
Oh.
And we were probably like 30, 40 feet away, and we stayed that far away. But we watched it and I videotaped it because I was just like, oh God, a sea otter right there. It's kind of amazing. And we've seen harbor porpoises. We've seen whales. We have seen a lot of, harbor seals and sea lions and all of that. We just have such a bustling wildlife around here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Except for bees. Don't bring me around those.
Yes, I think we understand that you do not like the bees.
Yes. Oh, man.
Alrighty.
What horror are you going to bring to me today?
Do you call me a whore?
Horror.
JK, I know.
Oh, I was like, girl.
We be fighting.
I could call you that, but it wouldn't go over well.
I mean, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I think Autumn calls me bitch more than anything else.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. It's like the one swear I think you use often.
Yes, I do use bitch a lot.
Yeah. But not a lot of the other ones.
No, it's very rare that I use other swear words.
Autumn would be really mad and be like, that is effed up.
It's true. What
Yeah.
the F is I say that
That's
one a
right.
lot.
You do say what the F often. Well, speaking of what the F, this is my case this week. It's a good transition. This is the case of tragedy, a Hollywood starlet, and an infamous kidnapping. Marie McDonald was a singer, actor, and famous pinup girl from the 1940s. And this is the story of her life, kidnapping case, and 7 tumultuous marriages.
Heaven.
You heard me right. You heard it here first, folks.
Wow.
Marie was born Cora Marie Fry on July 6, 1923 in Bergen, Kentucky. She was the daughter of Everett Fry and Marie Taboni, who was a performer in the Ziegfeld Follies. So her mother had a little bit of that Hollywood vibe already. After her parents divorced, she eventually moved in with her mother and stepfather to Yonkers, New York. At age 15, she began competing in numerous beauty pageants and was named the Queen of Coney Island, Miss Yonkers, and Miss Lowe's Paradise. At age of 15, she also dropped out of school and began full-time modeling. In 1939, Marie was named Miss New York State. The following year, at age 17, she landed a showgirl role in a Broadway production. She had it. She was beautiful and intelligent, and she knew she was Hollywood bound and was set to make it out there. Moving to Hollywood would develop her career. She continued modeling and worked as a showgirl at the Sunset Boulevard nightclub. After auditioning for Tommy Dorsey in December 1940, she joined Dorsey and his orchestra on his radio show. She then later performed with other big bands. This was all great exposure for Marie. It was Tommy Dorsey who actually suggested that she change her name from Fry to her mother's maiden name, which was McDonald. And she would go on to use that professionally for the rest of her life. Also in 1940, she met and fell in love with sports writer Richard Allord. He became her first husband, but only for a few short weeks. Then the marriage was annulled. Rumors had it that she had found out that her diamond ring was actually a fake.
Oh,
yeah.
that's disappointing.
Starting the marriage off with a lie is not a good way to get things going.
No.
So she left him only after a few weeks. In 1942, she was put under contract by Universal for $75 per week, which is roughly about $1,500 a week in today's money. Nothing to scoff at. And she immediately started appearing in several minor roles. Later that year, she appeared in 3 motion pictures, most notably Pardon My Sarong, which earned her the nickname The Body for her shapely physique. And she didn't really love this nickname. In my research, in all of the newspapers in all of the newspaper articles and things that I looked up, they list her name always as Marie the Body McDonald, even in all of the salacious stuff that you're going to hear about.
And she didn't like that name.
They always called her the Body. And she herself put out a album that literally read The Body Sings.
Oh.
It didn't even really have her name.
It. Why would she do that?
Well, she wanted to be known by her singing voice and acting skills, and it was frustrating, but she got jobs because of that nickname. So, Then she began starting to date several other men, and one of the fairly steady people that she was dating was Bruce Cabot. Not getting the success that she wanted, she was eventually dropped by Universal and then signed with Paramount Pictures, earning $100 per week, which is roughly $2,000 a week. That's pretty good.
That's a lot of money.
The move from Universal to Paramount was not only better for her financial situation, but she had moved on from her unsatisfactory romance with Bruce Cabot. After all, Vic Orsatti, her agent, had much more to offer her. This also included a real diamond ring. The pair eloped in Reno, Nevada in 1943, but it wasn't exactly a happily ever after. She was now in supporting movie roles, but she wasn't getting where she wanted to be. She wanted to be the star. During World War II, Marie became one of Hollywood's most popular pinup girls and posed for the United States Military magazine. And I can't believe that this is the real name of the magazine. I hope you are ready for this.
I'm here. Lay it on me.
The magazine was given to all the military men while they were fighting in World War II. And the magazine was called Yank.
Oh.
While I know that it was meant to be like Yankee, I can't think of a better name for essentially a porn magazine.
Yeah, that they did not did not see that.
Why no one has made a porn magazine called Yank at this point, I do not know.
Or maybe they have and we are just not aware of it.
That's true. Send us a message.
Not like I really read porn magazines, so
listen, that's all I read.
I forgot. I was trying to keep your secret.
I'm a big Yank fan.
She's a big Yank fan.
I can't. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Okay. Now it's 1944, and she co-starred in Guest in the House. in which she received the first really good positive reviews of her career. After that, she ended up getting a contract with MGM, and she co-starred in a movie with Gene Kelly, who was a notorious perfectionist and known to have a sort of bad temper with his co-stars. Unfortunately, Marie and Gene did not get along, and the movie ended up being a flop and a financial disaster for MGM. This was also embarrassing because for her to get out of her contract with them, she had to buy it out. So she had to pay money to get out of that contract. Then she went to Columbia Pictures, hoping that that would be the stepping stone to her next chance at fame. But with her professional disappointment also came personal heartbreak. Business and pleasure did not mix, and Marie McDonald and her husband/manager, Vic Orsatti, found that after just a few years of marriage, the couple realized they really needed to pick one or the other, and they chose business. So they separated in 1946 while Vic continued to represent Marie in the movies. She moved on quite quickly from him. She briefly rebounded with a Cuban millionaire named Jose Naval, but it was her next boyfriend that was more notorious. He was none other than the mobster Bugsy Siegel.
Bugsy.
Yeah. Bugsy may not have been the most law-abiding guy, but even mobsters have standards. It's kind of a funny reason why he broke up with her. He left Marie because she was chronically late. You know, a punctual gangster cannot have that kind of noise in his life.
That actually is pretty funny.
Right? Both of those were short romances, and even though Marie had only been divorced from Vic for a few months, she quickly married a new person named Harry Carl in September of 1947. Harry was a wealthy businessman, and for the next decade, their relationship was straight out of a telenovela. In 1950, Marie appeared in Once a Thief and Hit Parade of 1951. Then she did not make a movie for the next 8 years. She decided she would focus on her singing career for a bit, and she toured the world in a successful nightclub act. After being known as The Body, Marie was ready to be taken seriously. And now with a millionaire husband to support her, she could take some risks. In an effort to avoid getting typecast as the blonde babe, she dyed her hair back to her natural brown, but her career still floundered. I suspected it wasn't just because she wanted to be taken seriously, but at that time, Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield had shown up on the scene. Plus, many other blonde bombshells were showing up, and she kept losing roles to them. Sadly, this was not the only part of her life that was falling apart. This next part is heartbreaking and also can be triggering for those who have dealt with pregnancy loss and infertility. Marie and Harry tried desperately to get pregnant. It just wasn't in the cards for Marie, and she suffered 6 miscarriages. That takes a toll on anyone, both emotionally and physically. The couple wanted children so badly, and they ended up adopting 2 children together, Denise and Harrison. The multiple miscarriages weren't the only health problems suffered by Marie at this time. She had reoccurring ulcers and frequently had fainting spells. Her husband was so concerned for his young wife's health that he spent upward of $1 million on treatments for her. She had to have multiple surgeries. Harry was truly devoted to Marie, and she was utterly devoted to their children. But her career was also floundering away. So at some point, she decided to announce her retirement. Soon, she found herself pregnant again. Through the next few months, Marie and Harry waited for their baby to come, but tragically, the baby was stillborn at 6 months. Marie was struggling through this. She turned to painkillers and alcohol to cope. It was escalating, and it came to a head when on June 21st, 1954, officers detained Marie, and she was charged with driving while under the influence of sedatives. She crashed into 3 parked cars. Luckily, no one was hurt. Marie pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of hit and run, and she got off with a fine of $50. All of these things had put a strain on Harry and Marie's marriage, and in November of 1954, the couple divorced. But they reconciled not too long after that. Now here's where something truly bizarre, and I'm curious how true it was or if it was a publicity stunt, but Marie had explained what had happened in their separation to the newspapers. And you cannot make this up. She said she was allergic to her former husband.
Oh.
She said, and I quote, "When I'm with Harry, I get sick. When I'm away from him, I never get sick. That's the real reason for the breakup of our marriage." She was trying to put out there that she genuinely thought her body was rejecting a relationship with Harry. Now, I don't have any other information on how that panned out, but they must have figured out how to get over the allergicness as they remarried in June of 1955, less than a year after their initial divorce. It also did provide my favorite headline, though, which read, "Marie McDonald and her favorite allergy remarry." That made me giggle.
That is clever.
They went on to separate no less than 5 more times after that.
Jesus.
Yeah. Marie found herself pregnant again in the spring of 1956. This should have been a time of great joy for the couple, but they couldn't let a thing like pregnancy distract them from their fighting and breakups. First, Harry filed for divorce from Marie, citing mental suffering. That divorce was never completed, and in a scene almost out of a movie, with the attitude of, "You can't fire me, I quit," Marie filed a divorce from him a month later. Neither of them ended up going through with it, though, and Marie did give birth to their first biological daughter, Tina, in September 1956. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses, though. Apparently, Harry was alleged to have gotten into a violent physical altercation with Marie while she was pregnant. It was so bad that it put her pregnancy in jeopardy. She was also using sedatives throughout that time. As a result, Tina Marie McDonald was born prematurely and had to spend some time in an incubator. After Tina's birth, Marie and Harry Carl remained separated, and Marie moved on to Michael Wilding, who was fresh off his divorce from Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, well, this woman is trying to beat Elizabeth Taylor's record for marriages, it sounds like.
Doing her best. Then something truly mind-boggling happens. One night in early January 1957, Marie's mother, Marie Taboni, received a phone call that made her blood run cold. The man on the other line claimed that he had kidnapped her daughter. She quickly ran to Marie's house only to find her truly gone. The mailbox contained a chilling note from her abductors, claiming that they would be in contact soon. The note also said not to call the authorities. Then Marie's on-again, off-again partner, Harry Carl, also received a phone call, and he said it was around 2:10 in the morning. He heard a young male voice on the line. They sounded extremely nervous, and they said, "I've got Marie. Don't call anyone if you want to see her alive again." He said the mysterious caller must have gotten his phone number from Marie, as he had an unlisted number. But then, this is when things start not to add up. Marie herself makes a phone call unbeknownst to her captors, and she calls a gossip columnist named Harrison Carroll. Not the police, not other people close to her. She called a gossip columnist. She also reached out to her then boyfriend, Michael Wilding, and her agent, Harold Plant. She told all 3 men that 2 men had entered her home demanding money and that they'd sedate her with a mysterious substance. They took her to a home where she had been able to make these secret calls. She said they discovered her talking to Harrison Carroll, and they had gotten violent with her and threatened to sexually assault her. I don't understand why she would not call authorities, and why, when they caught her using a phone, they would continue to leave it in the room with her.
Mm-hmm.
Her explanation of why she called those men were because they were the only numbers that she had memorized. It wasn't until the 1970s when 911 was being used in California, so you would have to dial direct to someone, and there wasn't an operator doing the call forwarding for you. So it kind of makes sense, but it also doesn't. The first person being a gossip columnist makes me feel like this is a bit sketchy. Marie said that after the attack, her abductors blindfolded her, then drove her around while they were talking about fleeing to Mexico. It was then that a report came over the radio about her kidnapping, and they stopped immediately on the side of the road and set her free, worrying that having this celebrity was just too much heat.
Okay.
After a truck driver found Marie wandering by the side of the road in her bathrobe and slippers, which was the outfit that she was taken in, he took her to a hospital and contacted the authorities. The starlet had injuries, but just some injuries. 2 of her teeth were cracked and she had a black eye. Very superficial wounds and not very deep.
I mean, the cracked teeth that would freak me out.
Marie told police that the men had come to her door with a sawed-off shotgun and threatened to shoot into her children's room. So she let them in the house, and before they took her, they discussed asking for $30,000 ransom for her return. That would be the equivalent to just over $341,000. So that's a hefty sum.
Yes.
They took her diamond ring, the real one, and several other pieces of her jewelry. After they took Marie to the other house, they made her take sedatives by injection. Upon inspecting her home, officers found a newspaper that had been used to make the note left in the mailbox for Marie's mother. They had cut letter by letter out. That means that they had to have been in the house for quite a while to do that. And it's odd that they didn't have a letter already prepared, that they would be gluing and cutting and making this letter at her house. Seems odd to me.
Yeah.
And here's where more things don't add up. While looking at Marie's home, authorities found a copy of a popular novel called The Fuzzy Pink Nightgown. This book is about a starlet who was abducted by 2 men in her bathrobe and slippers, and the details were eerily similar.
This is like reminiscent of Gone Girl.
That's actually what a lot of people call this case. They call it the original Gone Girl.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. The police are now starting to suspect that Marie might not be telling the truth. Her lawyer advised her not to take a polygraph, so she didn't. Then after a medical exam, it showed that her injuries, including the cracked teeth and facial bruising, did not align with an assault. So the suspicions grew and her story kept on changing. In a very strange turn of events and also a very Hollywood moment, Marie said that since she was an actress, she should reenact the whole incident for police.
Okay.
And Autumn, they literally made a film of it with the police standing in for the roles. I cannot find a video of this, but there's a lot of stills from Life magazine. This was an entire production. Marie also told police that she thought that Harry Carl, her ex-husband, orchestrated this abduction for publicity purposes. But later, she admitted that she fabricated his involvement. And Harry told police he believed that she was, and I quote, not a well woman.
No shit.
When the trial began, the grand jury heard from Marie McDonald, who was very tearful. She was questioned about why her story kept changing and why so much of the evidence just wasn't adding up. She said, "I'm glad to clear up any of these so-called glaring discrepancies in my statement." She claimed that she was in a state of shock and was still under the influence of sedatives when she originally gave it. But her story changed several times after she would have had time to recover. It took the jury only 9 hours to come back stating that they could not agree on an indictment and that the police didn't have enough evidence to continue to investigate. Essentially, they were saying they didn't believe her and it didn't make sense for police to try to find these alleged kidnappers. It would
Yeah.
be a waste of time and energy.
This is all weird.
Yeah. Briefly, Marie and Harry Carl, after all of this, reunited
Again?
again in 1957 and then officially divorced for the last time. Harry went on to marry actress Debbie Reynolds,
Shut up.
who we love.
Yes.
Marie moved on and began dating George Capri, one of the owners of the Flamingo in Las Vegas. And on June 12th, 1958, George accompanied Marie to the hospital after she had accidentally overdosed on sleeping pills while the two were staying together. The following month, Marie told the media that that the two planned to get married after George's divorce was finalized, but they never made it down the aisle and they broke up in September 1958. On May 23rd, 1959, Marie married television executive Louis Bass in Las Vegas. She filed for divorce after 10 months, charging him with mental cruelty. Then on August 6th, 1961, she married banker and attorney Edward Callahan, also in Las Vegas. However, on September 17th, 1962, less than a month after they got married, Edward filed a suit in Los Angeles asking for a divorce due to mental cruelty or that the marriage would be annulled due to fraud. He claimed that the two had only lived together for 2 days, and because Marie had no intention of making a home with him or having his children, and that she would not convert to Catholicism as she promised, it should be annulled. Not to be outdone, Marie countersued him, dismissing the claim and stating that they had lived together until September 7th. So, like a couple weeks. It's just whatever. She also claimed that Edward had committed adultery and borrowed $2,600 from her to finance their wedding and honeymoon, and he did not repay her. I do feel bad for her at times because I think she was always looking for love and stability, but she herself was not very stable due to addiction to sedatives, alcohol, and fame. So she couldn't find the right partner, and I think she also looked for men that had money or clout, and she was so used to having turmoil and abuse in her relationships, she didn't know any other way. And that's just my opinion. Every detail of all of her relationships was in the front page of the headlines. And I think in a way she probably liked having that spotlight on her. After she had that last divorce, she had a breakdown and was hospitalized, but escaped from the treatment facility, and the starlet was then detained for making a fake prescription. Marie's kidnapping had really hurt her career, but by the 1960s, she was working on a comeback. With the loosening of restrictions around nudity in film, there was suddenly a race to release a movie with a fully nude scene and a major star. One of these contenders was a production called Promises, Promises, starring Jane Mansfield. Marie got a starring role in the film. Her hope was that this salacious film would bring notoriety and press. But alas, she did not get along with the main star, Jane Mansfield, which, by the way, is Mariska Hargitay's mother, our beloved Olivia Benson from Law & Order SVU. Dun dun.
I do not watch that show.
Oh, are you joking?
No, I actually have never watched that show.
Oh my God, I love it so much. And I've seen like every episode. I love Mariska Hargitay. And actually, Jane Mansfield's husband was also in that movie, but it doesn't matter. That's just way too far off. Anyway, the film did really well in the box office, and you could tell that the chemistry was off, and it was not a success for Marie. But it did bring her another husband.
God, okay.
Marie McDonald married for the 7th time in 1963 to her final husband, Donald Taylor. Donald was a producer on Promises, Promises. This relationship was tumultuous from the start, and they nearly separated right away due to the violent nature of their relationship. And also, Marie had really struggled at this point with her addiction. They remained married until October 21st, 1965, when Donald came home to find Marie lifeless and slumped over her dressing table in their home in Hidden Hills, California. She was only 42 years old.
Oh, man, that's so sad.
On October 30th, the coroner announced Marie's death was caused by an active drug intoxication due to multiple drugs. And it was determined that this was an accidental overdose. Sadly, tragedy did not stop there when 3 months after her death, on January 3rd, 1966, her widower, Donald Taylor, died of an intentional overdose. Marie's 3 surviving children were raised by Harry Carl and Debbie Reynolds until their split, and the kids stayed with Harry until they were old enough to move out. Apparently, after breaking up with Debbie, he was a pretty hands-off parent. But, amazingly, Debbie Reynolds lived up to her title of America's sweetheart and continued to help support the kids until her death. Her daughter, Carrie Fisher, talked about growing close to the kids in the book that she wrote, and she talked fondly about them when they all lived together. Lastly, on May 4th in 1967, Marie's father, Everett Fry, died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head in the garage in his home in Florida. This is one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking stories, and also a story of fame, drugs, and lies. And to this day, this abduction still remains to be one of Hollywood's strangest mysteries. My sources were Wikipedia, Find a Grave, Medium, and the 1957 newspaper issues of The Reading Eagle, LA Times, The Telegraph, The Evening Journal, and the Madera Tribune.
That was sad.
Yeah, it's kind of a really sad one, but I think the faked kidnapping and all of that was pretty salacious.
I would
and
have
all
to
of her
agree.
and
It
all of
reminded
her,
me, like, as you said, the like Gone Girl is based off that, but
yeah.
it reminded me so much of that movie.
Well, that was one of the things that a lot of people call this case the original Gone Girl. They also talk about, I think there was actually, I know there was a made for TV movie with Neil Patrick Harris that came out, I think in the 80s or 90s.
Well, don't you worry. The story I have is because I watched a early 90s movie with Brooke Shields in it. It was made for TV.
I wasn't sure if it was Neil Patrick Harris that got you into another one.
No. No.
Doogie Howser's The Gateway.
NPH is awesome, but no.
Yeah, it was, there's been multiple books written about it, and it's inspired a lot of movies and songs and etc., just based on the fact that she faked this kidnapping. Or allegedly.
Allegedly, Erin.
Allegedly.
Give her some credit.
Can you even that she had them make a movie though?
No, I'm pretty. That's pretty
and
on
that the
brand
police
for her.
did it. The police.
Well, it's pretty on brand for her.
There's like pictures of her like sitting on the bed pretending to be herself with the cops around her pretending to be the kidnappers. And the whole thing is kind of crazy. And there's still lifes. So there was photographers there. It's just too much. Anyway,
Crazy.
Go ahead, Autumn. Tell us your story.
So this week I also named my case The Man Who Wouldn't Let Go. So, like I said, I was watching Brooke Shields in this movie, and I was like, is this a true story? And it was. And so then I had to do it. She was really young. This was a long time ago. Okay. Are you ready?
Well, I'm ready.
Have you ever worked with someone who gave you the creeps? You try to be polite. You try to stay professional, but there's something off.
Yeah,
something you can't quite put your finger on.
Ugh.
Now imagine that person doesn't just linger around the office or send a weird email. Imagine they follow you from job to job.
No,
Break
that's
into
too
your
creepy.
files, find your home address, again and again. And then one day, they show up at your work with a shotgun.
What the fuck, Autumn?
This is the story of Laura Black and a man named Richard Farley who wouldn't take no for an answer. A man who turned a workplace obsession into one of the most devastating mass shootings in California history.
Oh my God.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Considered me buckled.
Okay, good. We're going back to 1988, Sunnyvale, California, right in the heart of Silicon Valley. Back then, ESL Incorporated was a defense contractor, secure technical, high clearance stuff. And behind those high security doors, a woman named Laura Black was just trying to do her job. She had no idea that saying no to a colleague would put her on a 4-year collision course with death.
4 years?
Richard Wade Farley, born July 25th, 1948 in Texas, was the oldest of 6 children. His father was in the military, so the family moved often. Eventually, they settled in California. Farley was described as smart but introverted. He graduated high school in 1966, then bounced around junior college before joining the Navy in 1967. He served 10 years, honorable discharged, and he had a solid record. Afterward, he landed at ESL Incorporated, a defense contractor. He was a software technician, by all accounts, quiet, polite, maybe even a little awkward, and he had worked there for 9 years. Then came 1984. He met Laura Black. She was just 22, just out of grad school, bright, ambitious, a rising star in a field still dominated by men. Farley was 35. He said he fell in love instantly. Asked her out.
Ew.
I know. He asked her out. She politely declined. He asked again and again. At first, it was office chatter. Brownies left at her desk, notes. Then it became daily letters, phone calls, every few hours.
Jesus, that's hardcore stalker.
Hardcore. He started showing up at her aerobics classes.
What? 80s
Yes.
aerobic classes?
Yes, she was working out. She's 22. She was active, social, and he was there for it. Laura tried to stay professional. She told him no. She avoided him, and she moved desks. But Farley wasn't just persistent. He was escalating. He used fake credentials to get her home address from HR. He made friends with janitorial staff so he could copy her desk key, and he rifled through her files. Personal and personnel. Sorry.
Okay, you.
And the letters kept coming. Some weeks, 2 or 3. Sweet at first, then pleading, then angry. Over the course of
I fucking hate
I
that
know.
so much.
It's like
That's so
disgusting.
typical. It's so typical.
She's like
though.
politely telling him no, and he's just like, nope, don't care. You're
You only
gonna be
said that
mine.
because you're an ugly dumb bitch. You know, it always
Right.
like escalates into something
right?
like that.
It's always her fault.
Yeah, of course. She's doing this to him.
Mm-hmm.
All he's trying to do is love her.
He just wants to love her. He made her brownies. I mean, come on.
Ugh, I hate this guy.
So do I. Over the course of 4 years, he sent more than 200 letters. He even doctored photographs, cut and pasted images of the two of them together, smiling at events she never attended.
Yuck.
Mm-hmm. Laura moved 4 times, and every time he found her. This wasn't just stalking. This was an obsession rooted deep in delusion. By the fall of 1985, Laura went to Human Resources. She asked for help, told them everything. ESL required Farley to attend psychological counseling. He did, but it didn't help. It didn't stop him. In fact, by 1986, Farley's behavior was spilling over. He started threatening coworkers, and his performance tanked. ESL finally let him go in May of that year. He didn't take it well.
I can't imagine that he did.
No. He spent a few months jobless, just stewing. Eventually, he was hired at a rival tech firm, Covalent Systems, but he never let go of Laura. If anything, the firing made his obsession worse. He'd lost his job, his routine, his access, but not his target. And then, in February 1988, Laura Black filed a restraining order.
Good for her.
She was done waiting for help. February 2nd, 1988, the temporary restraining order is granted. A court date is set for February 17th. Richard begins planning. He starts gathering weapons, a shotgun, multiple handguns, knives, over 1,000 rounds of ammunition, a smoke bomb, and tactical gear.
God.
He's not messing around. And then, in one final attempt to rewrite reality, he leaves a package with Laura's attorney. Inside, evidence of their relationship. Faked hotel receipts, photographs, even a garage door opener to her house.
This guy has too much time on his hands.
He's obsessed.
This is insane.
He claims they did drugs together, that they were lovers. The attorney recognizes it for what it is.
Yeah,
delusion.
It's completely a delusion.
But Richard, he's beyond convincing.
Yeah, he believes it wholeheartedly.
He's preparing. February 16th, the day before the hearing, Richard drives his motorhome to the ESL parking lot and waits. At 2:50 p.m., he suits up. His court testimony would later list everything. .380 in front, ammo pouch in front, .357 Magnum to my right, .22 Magnum behind it, buck knife behind that, numerous clips, my vest, my 9mm, my 2 shotguns,
Oh my
22,
God.
250 with a cord around it, slug over me. He's not just going in armed, he's going in ready for war.
Honestly, and with his military training, he's ready.
He's
That
ready.
is insane.
Insane. First to die was Lawrence J. Kane in the parking lot. Then Wayne Buddy Williams Jr. at the front desk. Richard blasts through a locked security door and enters the building. On his way to the second floor, he kills Ronald Doney, then Joseph Silva, then Glenda Moritz, Ronald Reed, and Helen Lamparter. 7 people in all.
Wow.
Finally, he reaches Laura's office. She sees him and slams the door. He fires through it. The shotgun blast tears through her shoulder, collapses a lung, and she drops, unconscious, bleeding. But she lives.
What?
At 3:15 p.m., Richard calls 911. I'm the one who's been wasting people, he says. He tells negotiators he did it because of Laura, because of the restraining order, because he had nothing left. He moves from room to room, avoiding SWAT snipers, shoots up computer terminals, talks to police. He says he wants to die, that he changed the beneficiary on his life insurance policy, that he's lost his home, his car, his money. He lets 2 women go, his former landlady and a hidden employee who slips out during the chaos. By 4:30 p.m., he allows officers to rescue wounded employees on the first floor. He asks about Laura, says he wanted her to live so she could regret everything.
God.
Finally, at 8:30 p.m., Richard surrenders. 7 dead, 4 wounded, 98 rounds fired. Laura Black spends 19 days in the hospital, but she survives and returns to work.
What?
I know.
Oh, hell no.
I know. Richard is arrested, tried, and found guilty of 7 counts of first-degree murder, sentenced to death. He writes Laura one last time for prison. "You finally won," he says. In 2024, the district attorney attempts to reduce Richard's sentence to life
What?
without parole.
No.
But survivors testify and families speak. In March 2025, a judge decides the death sentence stands.
Okay.
The ESL massacre changed California law. In 1990, it became the first state to pass anti-stalking legislation, the beginning of legal recognition that obsession can be deadly.
Yeah.
Laura Black did everything right. She reported it, she got help, she moved, she filed a restraining order, but the system wasn't built to protect her. She survived, not because the law stopped him, but because she refused to fall. My sources were Wikipedia, East Bay Times, ABC 7 News, the movie with Brooke Shields, The Stalking of Laura Black.
Wow.
I know.
It's just,
and you know what's kind of crazy is that
what?
you
whole
didn't
thing?
have, well, yes, your main person didn't die, and my
Nope.
main person didn't die.
No, we have survivors.
We had survivors.
I mean, although, did mine survive?
7 people were murdered, so
But
that was.
did mine survive a
Well, I mean-
kidnapping that she probably orchestrated?
I mean, I guess that's a good
not
point.
really. No. But
That's neither here nor there.
I am glad
She didn't
that
die of murder.
I'm glad she survived, though. I love a survivor story, but my God, that's fucking brutal. And I don't know how you could ever go back after the trauma and
She
everything.
went back to her job, the same job.
No, I could not. I couldn't go in that
And
building
she never moved again.
That is crazy. I mean,
I know.
he was away, and then he died. So there's a safety in that, but still, that is
he's
like
not dead.
so-
He's alive.
Wait, still?
Yeah, as of March 2025, the death sentence was withheld. He's still alive.
Motherfucker.
He hasn't been executed. They tried to take in 2024, they tried to reduce his sentence from life without parole to from
Death penalty.
yeah, and then in March of 2025, they were like, absolutely not. It stands because of the survivors'
Sure.
testimonies and the families.
Yeah, no, because he should not ever.
No, he should never see the light of day again. This
Never
man
again.
is not stable.
No, and the chances of him doing something else is extremely high. The level of brutality that he committed on all of these
And the
people that were just at
fixation?
work. They were just at work. Come on now. The fixation is incredible.
I mean, and also how tragic to die at work. You're just making a living. You're probably miserable at your job anyway, and then you get smoked. Like, are you kidding me?
No, that's awful. I feel so bad. That's so sad.
It's sad. Very sad.
Yeah, that's a really sad one. But I'm glad that she survived and that
too.
she was like, fuck you, I'm going to live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hate that he was like, I let her live. Like, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was our cases this week. We will be back again next week. New episodes always come out on Monday. Do follow us on Instagram and TikTok because we will post photos and more information on there. Also, slide into our DMs and let us know if you have any cases you would like us to cover or something that you've heard about that we should deep dive.
Yes,
Anyway,
please.
we love that.
We
And
do.
like and comment on all of our stuff. It really means means a
please.
lot. Share with your friends.
Share it.
Because right
Get
now,
the word out.
Yeah, right now we pay for all of this ourselves, but it'd be really cool if we didn't have to.
Yes.
We don't have to make a shit ton of money, but it'd be really cool if we just didn't have to pay for all the stuff right now.
Yes.
Anyway, we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week, and we will see you then. Bye.